Good morning and welcome to the first ever Tribe Wellness Garden Show. Dun, 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 dun. This morning, we've got some exciting stuff here for the tribe. We've got quite an array of things coming. We're going to have Rod kick it off, who is a master gardener, showing us his garden. After Rod, we've got, we're going to be visited by Colette. After Colette, Bill, and then Sherry, and then Steve. So we think that this should take us about an hour. What each of our wonderful folks has offered to do is to take a 10-minute slot to showcase their gardens. We're trying to leave a couple minutes for question and answer. And really, this is hopefully just an opportunity for us to connect further, get to know each other, get to hang out a bit. I don't want to take too much of the time up. So, Rod, can you hear me?
Hi, Michael. This is Ellie. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Ellie.
Okay. Do you see Rod in the picture?
I sure do.
Oh, very nice.
Well, I'm going to start off introducing, and then he's going to come down and do some narration.
I love it. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. This is the home of Rod Schmidt and Ellie Hayek. This home was built in 1940. We moved in 9 years ago and just loved it. And one of the reasons we bought it was because of the yard and gardens. And Rod, I'm going to start panning, and we're going to hope that you can hear Rod as, whoops, what happened? There we go. As we talk about the gardens and flower beds. Okay, take it away, Rod.
Okay.
Speak with intent, Rod.
Yeah. Okay, to the right of the entrance, or to the west of the entrance, is a Japanese maple with a Yaupon holly behind it. Behind that is the living room of the house. The entrance is in the center, and then to the left of that is a bay window and a different bed. That bed includes some nandinas and a black and blue sage or salvia.
Right there.
Red salvias and two
Rose of Sharon.
Rose of Sharons.
You can't really appreciate this black and blue salvia so well unless you're here, but it is really an exquisite salvia and really attracts the hummingbirds and butterflies. So it's wonderful having it just outside the window where we can sit and be doing some work or reading and turn around and watch the show out front. And
is it a native salvia?
It is well adapted. You know, native is a little tricky word in gardening. So I don't know that it's native to Texas, but it's very well adapted here.
And you just call it blue sage or blue salvia?
Black and blue salvia. And then as we pan around, we're going to show you real quickly a bed that screens us from Plymouth, kind of the busy street on one side of our house.
And this bed includes a number of magnolias that are evergreen, of course, and two hawthorns that are also evergreen, plus one butterfly bush and several other bushes.
So this bed is planted real dense. It's also planted to attract butterflies and hummers. And it's dense because there's traffic coming right up to it, and it screens the house beautifully.
That's mine.
Oh, and then we're going to turn around and get back to the walkway coming from the steps where Rod was. I'm not certain what this is adapting. Good. Okay, so tell them about this bed.
Okay, we have bed on each side of the walkway here that are small, and they're filled with perennials and annuals.
Mm-hmm. So we have the zinnias that we planted by seed from last year's zinnias. We have some lamb's ear. We have some petunia and lantana. And we have, I just forgot the name of that, a real neat plant. We volunteer at Texas Discovery Gardens, and they have plant sales from time to time. So we always take advantage of the interesting plants they have. And then to our left, as we walk down the sidewalk to the driveway, is another small bed. And I'll let Rod tell you about that.
Well, it's the same type of bed, but it has different plants. There are some pavonia in it, and some lamb's ear, some four-nerve daisies.
Yeah, good.
And there's also, as it goes back toward the house, there's a possum haw holly and a number of what do you call those?
These are loropetalums.
Loropetalum.
So the loropetalums were, here, I'm gonna get out of the sun. The loropetalums were planted here when we moved in. And in fact, the front yard of this home was just beautiful. It was filled with rose bushes. So those of you who are gardeners can guess what happened. Those were knockout roses. And about 2 years after we moved in, they started dying from rosette disease. We lost all of the roses everywhere, except we have 2 hangers on that are in pots in the backyard. And so we really had to rethink these flower beds entirely, because they were built around red roses and then white annuals and perennials. And so we've been working on that. So we're coming back to the through the driveway, and here on our, I hope this isn't too jerky. Here on our left, let me get, is just a small little shade garden in the morning, and it's filled with dwarf ruellia, Mexican, petunia, thank you. And then back in the corner by the benches are hardy hibiscus and another pavonia on the left. And this is a nice place to sit in the morning and have a cup of tea, since Rod and I are both tea drinkers. And as we continue up the driveway, Rod, will you tell them about this bed?
Well, this bed, the next bed is an herb bed. It has a number of herbs that we use in cooking, plus one tomato bush. And behind it, next to the house, is a
Turk's cap.
Turk's cap.
Mm-hmm. And Turk's cap are great as a screening plant and for attracting hummingbirds and butterflies as well, but especially hummingbirds. And this thing is just getting ready to burst into big bloom. You can see some small red blooms on it right now, but mid-August to frost, it's filled with red blooms, and it's so pretty because that's a time of the year where we often don't have much blooming. And then I'm going to swing around to look at the other side of the driveway, and you'll see our little St. Francis over here. And then as I pan up the driveway, you'll see a new stone bed that we just put in this spring. And I cannot believe how well it's filled in. Rod can tell you what it's planted with.
Well, there's rudbeckia, or the yellow flowers. Then there's a number of, there are two different varieties of, what do you call those?
The hibiscus?
No.
No. Oh, the lantanas?
Lantanas.
Lantanas. Mm-hmm.
There are a number of types of milkweed for the butterflies.
Yeah. Yeah. This plant is a milkweed. It's very lacy looking. We also have some basil and some hardy hibiscus in this bed. And then the front of the bed, down in the ground between the bed and the sidewalk, are sedums, various sedums that bloom in the fall and also attract butterflies, etc. Okay, so I'm going to swing around and we're going to take you real quickly to the backyard. So we have some painting going on, and so that's all the painters stuff there. Okay, so what you're seeing, we just crossed the back hall and we're going out into the backyard, and that's okay. Let's see, you have to do. And this is part of the yard that's used a whole lot. So as we come through, there's French doors, and as I pan to the right, oops, let me get my finger out of the way. I told Bill Silverman that y'all, we would make all the mistakes so everybody else can learn.
Ellie, we're sideways right now. We're turned 90.
Oh, you can't do
to
the
right.
sideways on Zoom. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Whoops. So this area is a small little seating area, and then we have a table where we eat lunch and breakfast out here a lot, and when we have huge family gatherings like we used to before COVID, this area is really well used. We also have a utility sink, which is really nice for the gardening part of our lives, and then a grill. And then as we come back to the center, I'll let Rod talk to you about what we're seeing.
Okay, we have just off the patio, which is covered because of the flower profusion that comes down from above, from the trees, the crepe myrtle trees. We have a fountain, and we have what's called a parterre garden on both sides of that. The parterre garden is bounded by boxwoods. There are two large pots with aurelia in them. And along the south fence, you'll see some Savannah hollies.
Sorry, this is outside of the parterre gardens. As we make our way down the back fence, he's saying there's Savannah hollies.
Yes. And
then as we pan around back to the fountain, you can see what it looks like out here. It's really I love to come out here and sit, especially when the world has gotten to be too much. It's a nice place just to calm down and relax. And you can see our two pet flamingos that take care of this area. And behind them is a beautiful teak bench that Rod painted for us a few years ago. And and you can probably see, wanting to lead you in this tour, are our two dogs, Buddy and Rosie. And then as we walk on out toward the yard is more parterre garden that hugs the house. And then as I pan through the yard, you'll see it's a pretty big yard. And it's one reason we bought it, because we were moving here from several acres out in the country and loved having that. And so this ended up being a large yard. So Rod, you want to tell them about the pecan?
Yeah, well, this yard includes a large pecan tree in the center. On the northeast corner, there's a small greenhouse that we use every winter to keep our tropical plants in both in the house and from the ones that are outside during the summer.
That greenhouse saves us.
Then we have a gazebo that's falling down or just about to fall down, and we're going to replace it in the fall. Along the south side, you can see the Savannah hollies that are growing next to the fence, and some ornamental grass between our lawn and the fence.
And here, we'll close with Buddy and Rosie inviting you to come over to our yard. And even in the time of COVID, there's plenty of places to sit with appropriate social distancing, and we would love to have any of you at any time. So Michael, we'll hand it back to you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you for showing all of that to us. And here's what I'll say. That's more than I think any of us bargained for when we were talking about a garden show. I'm sure a lot of you have questions for Rod. We've run a little bit over the planned time, and I think we could spend more time in Rod's yard, but I want to be fair to our other folks. So if you can hold questions for Rod until later, that's probably a good move, because coming up next on our show, God, I wanted to say that for so long. Coming up next on our show is our good friend Colette. So let me spotlight Colette. Let me mute myself and have you take it away, my friend.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I am overwhelmed, astounded, amazed, charmed, and fell in love with the previous garden yard, Shangri-La. My garden, I call it my secret garden, and I'm going to turn this around in a minute so you can see it. It was inspired by a friend who's a Southern gardener, and she had a small garden outside of her kitchen window. And one moment, let's see how to do this. Okay, here. No, wait a minute. You can't do some of this until you're connected. So I say none. There, look. Okay, this is the start. Now look down there. There's kitty food. So Kitty and I sit here and look out this window. And it was nice. It was shaded, but it needed more. And when my friend talked about a secret garden, I decided to try and create one. So what you're seeing is what my kitty and I see every day, multiple times during the day. Okay, you've seen that. Now, I did not promise a house tour. So we're going outside, and I will lead you into the garden. And you guys, I'm making it out without letting the kitty out, so that's good. Okay, here's my sunny front yard. And you notice as we walk over here, and I get in the shade, you really almost can't see the garden from the street. My dear neighbor is having some work done. Good morning, Janice. Good morning. We're doing a garden tour.
Oh, wonderful. For your dad?
No, for my exercise group.
Oh, for your exercise? Oh,
Say hi to Mike.
oh, hi, Mike. I hope y'all can see her. She looks absolutely today.
Okay, you guys, see how you have to sneak in? So you sneak in from the side, and you see caladium, impatient, a hidden caladium, more impatience, more my little friendship of the heart. Can you guys see this? I don't know. Oh, I've got a spider web. More. Now, over here is the only thing I actually did correctly. Can you see that we have a bulb planted there? Just a few little That's a rain lily bulb. My friend gave me the teacup. It's supposed to be a bird feeder. So far, I don't think any birds have discovered it. Okay, you guys. My secret garden is a prototype. And I have plans for the future. I am actually, wait a minute. Come on, go away. Okay, I have plans for the future of putting more different plants in pots as the seasons change. This spring, Abby Miller, one of Mike's grad students from UT Southwestern, did the shopping for me because I've been pretty closely quarantined, and brought me the impatiens and the caladium. But I think I'm going to put a Christmas tree up there, and certainly in the fall I'll be getting more fall flowers. So that is my secret garden.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. Oh, the house is 40 years old, and I've been here 20 years, and I've always found gardening just overwhelming. Too hot, too dry, too hard to figure out. But my secret garden, I feel, is a foothold into real gardening.
That's good.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you, Colette. I appreciate that. Does anyone have a question for Colette, or maybe we should hold all questions till the end? Let's do that, because I don't know how things will get goofy. Next up on our show, our man Bill is going to show us some wonders from near Rod's neighborhood. And let's see here. Bill, can you hear us? Bill, if you can hear us, you're muted.
I can do it. I just unmuted.
There we go.
Hey,
Take it
I hear
away,
you now, Bill.
Good morning, tribe.
Good
Welcome
morning.
to-
Good
Good
morning.
morning, Bill.
I'm starting off over here with another kind of hidden garden. My neighbor keeps it kind of wild on this side, and I've kept it kind of wild too. It's a place to stay that people really don't see you. Next door neighbor calls it a thicket, and it's really in too shady of an area. But there's lantana, and there's light.
Did your bill freeze
Got a
up?
beautiful seed heads. There's a Mexican buckeye over here,
Yeah.
and this is called Phlomis, and it's got an interesting flower. You could see the interesting kind of seed pod over here too.
That's good.
Is that shady or is it mostly shade that area?
It's shady, and it comes into a sunny side on this side here.
Okay.
The house
I
is
couldn't-
the house is 1934, which I guess is an old house in Dallas reckoning, but this is rosemary,
Oh,
which we use a lot,
right.
and garlic cloves. And I've kind of done kind of a fence with these Yopan hollies. A neighbor of mine actually built this gate for me, and instead of going to the trash, I've tried to limit the amount of grass that I have, and I put Asian jasmine across the front over here. Hope you could see that.
Yeah, it looks good.
This is a loquat tree, which I love. I started that from a pit from a friend's fruit,
For
and
goodness sake.
it's been 7 years now, and we got our first 4 fruit this past year. In this bed over here, the 2 weeks out of the year, they're beautiful peonies.
Oh,
But they're definitely worth the 2 weeks out of 52. Crepe myrtles, my one of my tomato plants. This is lantana, Dallas red. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of shady right now, but it's in beautiful bloom. Purple coneflowers, more crepe myrtles. There's Greek oregano down here on the ground. This plant I really like too. It's yarrow. I like it because it's kind of like almost like frilly, almost like a very delicate kind of plant, but it takes the sun and it takes very little water, and it's gone to seed. You can see the seed heads here. This is one of the latest projects. I put in this walkway earlier this year. The lamb's quarter. This, I call it umbrella plant. It may be papyrus, I'm not sure. But this is one of my favorite parts to the house. It's just sitting up on the porch. It's a real shady area. And I just love sitting up here, especially when it's raining. I'll take you to the backyard. This is a wisteria plant that for some reason has never bloomed as much as I've tried to get it to bloom. I don't know if it's not enough sun or what. And here's the backyard. It's a very small backyard. A big native pecan tree. I've got a cactus here that has been blooming for weeks. And this is my parsley patch. This parsley goes to seed every year and comes back every year. I don't know if you could see the seeds here. And this cactus has just gone crazy. I call it the Jack and the Beanstalk cactus because it's huge. I promised you a fountain. And here's the fountain that I just, when the weather is nice, to open up the windows and just to hear the fountain going is beautiful. The fish in here are Walmart fish, goldfish. I don't know if you could see any of them right now.
oh yeah.
But somehow in this, 16 inches of water, they're able to survive. It freezes over. They love it. They have babies. What I have done, I've rigged up a system where the air conditioning condensated water feeds this. So I don't have to dechlorinize or desalinize kind of the water that goes in there.
That's good.
This is the carport. Back in the corner there is a chilling and grilling area. Another loquat. The tree in the far corner is a Foster holly. And I found that Foster holly on McKinney Avenue. I think it must have fallen off somebody's truck. And I had been walking, and it was like, thank you, whoever sent this to me. Some more little tomatoes. Let me show you what it looks like back here. Begonias, marigolds, got some old type roses, caladiums. And a lead, actually. How much time do I have? Do I have any time? I want to show you across the street. This neighborhood has all these little parks. I could show you across the fence over here, stuff that we've collected. Some of it's from Mexico. Some of it's from New Orleans. Some of it's just junk.
Take a few more minutes, Bill. It's all good. We've got extra time built in for this exact reason.
Well, what I want you to see is the neighborhood has all these little green spaces. And about 10 years ago, the neighbors got together and had a wine and cheese fundraising party. And we raised money to irrigate and plant this little area here, which I'll show you. It's low maintenance, no grass. And I'll try to get closer for you to see this. This neighborhood is kind of nice because it's got a lot of trees. It's kind of hilly. It's not flat.
Probably
That's
for
really
controlling
beautiful.
traffic, too.
What are the red plants? The red flowers.
What is it?
What were the red flowers?
Oh, roses. Those are roses.
Oh, those are roses. Oh, okay. Those are really pretty.
Got some ferns over here. It's just the neighborhood came together, and you'll see this all over the neighborhood. Different parks that look different. I'm going to
That's beautiful.
What a lovely little area.
yeah. And you'll see this is where Bigfoot lives over here. That's what I want. I want one of those RVs. Hit the road. I'm
Nope, no, thank you. Yeah, mine.
six. And that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Bill.
Very
Thank you, Bill.
Bill, you got
Yeah.
plenty of exercise today.
Yeah.
Work around your neighborhood.
We got a great neighborhood and a great yard, and it sure is fun to see all that.
My pleasure.
Next up, we have our good friend Sherry. And let's take a look here. Sherry, I'm going to spotlight you. Boom.
Good morning, Sherry.
Morning. Am I
Say
on?
again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a camera person for my garden tour, and this is where I like to sit in the morning, have my Diet Dr. Pepper in my coffee mug, and this is the view I get. We've been here 8 years, and there were lots of viney things against the fence didn't bloom, and a leggy rose and some leggy oleanders, and so last year professionally landscape, and it's come back a little differently this year. We'll start over here with this little unprofessional hydrangea English ivy bed. A couple years ago, when I bought this little hydrangea, it had a big pink blossom, a big blue blossom, and a big white blossom. Last year, it got one big pink blossom, and that was it. This year, it got one white blossom. So, diversity and alkalinity.
Are you supposed to put berry nails by the roots to make it change color?
Make it change color. To make it hydrangeas change colors, you add an alkaline acidic additive to the soil. So we have to test the soil first, and it can take a whole year, or it can take 2 years to get the colors right. But I'll talk more about that when we come to the other hydrangeas. Big salvia like Rod has. I don't have the black and blue. I just have the common one. There's some peonies that were here when we moved. Bloom beautifully. These are some pittosporum. Pittosporum and a Japanese maple. We've never had maple before, so I'm happy to. And here's our little St. Francis. I have St. Francis in my garden. St. Francis. Lainey used to come up to him and just hug him. And she was, you gonna go hug him? Gonna go hug him, Mom? Okay. All right, here we have grasses. We have some more Pittosporum. And we have some more Rudbeckia, which Rod had, you know, black-eyed Susan. This is super hardy and blooms when lots of other things don't bloom. Here's also a sedum like Rod has. It's a succulent, and it blossoms as long as you water it, and a little bit of skullcap. Over here, this is the hydrangea bed that last year we had about a dozen pink blooms on about 8 plants each, and then bright blue blooms on another 8 plants. And obviously the soil wasn't enough to keep them blooming in colors or blooming as much this year, but we've enjoyed what we have. You want to get a closer up with this? And the vine arbor bed, here again, we don't know what it is. There's some camellia behind it, which the grandkids are going. There's a monkey at the top of the garden. Hey, it's one of my favorite things in my garden. It's water lady. Hi guys.
Can you wave?
My bird bath I got from a friend's mother after she passed away. If you have a bird bath or any standing water, mosquito don't. Because if you don't, and you do standing water for a couple, as you see little squiggles. This is my other little favorite garden gnome, named Oliver. We love to watch the birds. Hey, Nana, can you say hi? Storage area. Yeah.
I think you're.
Or garden tool in the back place, which is where originally I told him he could put the back. He chose to put it on the fireplace.
Yeah. Wow.
I think we lost the audio.
Was Rusty did. He tore it out.
It was really loud.
He took, well, I want him to do this too. He took all this rock from the interior of a house and repurposed it and did the wall, which originally was a little brick wall, and then showed a picture of a fireplace that he wanted to a friend he's worked in the tile business with forever, and the guy made it in about a week. The caribou rack, of course, is from Alaska, and at one time it had 10 Christmas stockings on it. That looked pretty cute, but we like to sit out here when the weather's nice. Lots of dinners, lots of family dinners. But like I said, my favorite thing. You gonna catch it? Ready? Are the grandkids in the garden? Sorry, I'm gonna give Lincoln a quick hug. I want to show you how she can do cartwheels. Like, she goes. And that's the garden here. Thank you for coming and come any. Bye.
Thank you. You've got a beautiful garden.
Thank you.
Okay. Sure, it looks great.
Yeah, it was great,
Yeah.
Sherry.
Beautiful.
Coming up next, live from Plano,
Hi. You want to go inside?
is our man, Steve.
You want to push it?
All right.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Can you hear me?
Let's see what the time.
We
You hear me?
can. It
It's all
looks like
broken up.
it's breaking up a little bit, though.
I don't know how to stop that.
You know what might be better is getting off of your Wi-Fi and going on your mobile. Yeah, on your regular.
He's out at a
Don't
doctor's appointment. So
Because your Wi-Fi doesn't reach where your garden apparently.
we don't have a garden so much as we have a pool with stuff around it. I'll give you kind of a panoramic view. This is where you come out to the pool. And this is overlooking, can you see? Pretty sunny. Can you see the pool?
No, you
Yeah,
got
the
a
waterfall.
do.
We see your face.
I'll give you a view.
Steve, we're looking at you, and Beth had a suggestion, which was, I don't know if it's easy to do or not, but maybe switching off of Wi-Fi and onto your data will make it smoother if you're away from your Wi-Fi range. But I don't know.
I don't know how to do any of that.
Yeah.
You can't,
There we go. There's a pool.
How pretty.
does that help? Does that help?
Yes, it does.
He has 3 dogs.
It's pretty.
The best thing we have are hibiscus. For some reason, we have really good luck with hibiscus. This 3 little hibiscus plants that I put in at the beginning of every year, and they do quite well. Across the way, there are 4 hibiscus plants we put in maybe 18 inches high, ending in the ceiling every year. You can see 25 hibiscus at one time. We have other things. I don't use technical names because, like here, I have green plants with purple flowers. I have a Japanese maple, which we put in. We've been here 7 years. We put in the Japanese maple. We put in the magnolias, which were about 4 feet tall when we put them in. They get too tall, but as you can see, they lied. It's more a wild look. Is everybody seeing anything? I don't know what I can do.
Yeah.
We have canna. This comes back every year. I cut it back at the end of the year, and every year the canna comes back, and they reach up about 6 feet high. This is potato vines, more hibiscus, geranium. This is a little sitting area. I forgot about that. The fall steps. Yeah. And behind it is the dog run, which is travel at your own risk. But there's no sense of order. It's just kind of wild plantings. I don't know. Anybody have any questions? I don't even know what to tell you.
It's really pretty.
It's
Beautiful.
These are unfortunately having a bad year. Portulaca. They're great because they flower during the day and then they go away at night and then they come back out the next day. But we're having trouble with them. I think it's because my dogs have figured out how to use them to water themselves. Let me see. Wiley, Willie, come here. Come on. Wiley. Come on, Will. Come on. They don't want to come outside. It's too hot. That's Willie.
Oh.
Say hi, Willie.
Oh, he's so cute.
So I don't know what else you want to see or what you want to know. I can't really give you terms on any. Like everybody.
Well, that's okay. You're breaking up a lot there at the end, Steve, but we sure appreciate you showing us the pool and showing us Willie. We caught a glimpse of Wiley there in the background too. So we've got about 13 minutes available here. If people have questions for any of the folks who shared their gardens with us or others, now's the time.
No, that was fun.
That was great.
Okay.
I loved everybody's gardens. They're so different. They're so similar. They take the same plant, they put it someplace else. It looks different. What tremendous amount of work as I look at it, and hope for everyone to make these beautiful gardens.
Well, it sure seems like people have put the time during quarantine or sheltering in place to good use, and perhaps a lot of time for many years before that. I'm spotlighting Ellie and Rod's camera because it looks better than the Tribe Wellness Pro Shop. The flamingo and the fountain. But it seems like this was a pretty successful thing and something we should try again. Can we give Rod and Colette and Bill and Sherry and Steve a big round of applause for their hard work?
Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you all so much.
Here's
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you all for tuning in.